Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, and I'm joined by co-host Jeff.
Good day to you, sir. How we doing?
Good day to you indeed.
It is almost Christmas.
Almost
Are you ready?
Christmas.
Have you prepared?
Every year, I'm like, am I ready? Am I ready? I look at the tree and I look at the presents and I'm like, ooh, there's an empty space. I need to fill it.
Wish I was your kid. I would just hide presents and then you just keep filling them up.
Like, why do they keep disappearing? Anyways, before we get into what we watched this week, we got to plug some music, and we want to give great big present to the New York alt hip hop band Oxymorons for allowing us to use their music here on the podcast with the song Moon Chasers. They're doing big things. Hit the show notes, get all the links to their social media accounts, and give a like, follow, and a subscribe. They're doing big things. A little bit of what do I call it? Groveling, not groveling. Where I asked
pandering.
For pandering. Yes. Okay. Good. I like that word. A little bit pandering to Oxymorons. We have to apologize because. I mean, we're gonna pander.
Okay. Good. As long as we get the pandering.
I used the wrong band photo on when I plugged them on
the
social
Girls?
media. No, and I feel bad because like I googled their band photos, and I used one. I thought it was them because I looked at another picture and I was like, yeah, that's them, and then I posted it, and then they commented and they're like, don't know where you got that photo. That's not us.
So I was like, saw you fuck up.
Yeah, right.
Awesome.
Now
they know what
we're
they're dealing
professionals
with.
here on the podcast.
Now
so
they know what they're dealing with.
I quickly deleted the wrong post because on X, Twitter,
You're your own oxymoron.
I am my own oxymoron. But on X, you can't unless you pay Elon Musk, you can't delete your shit or edit your shit.
Oh, edit.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to delete the post and then repost with. But they were nice enough. They said that they chastised, but then they offered up correction. And they gave me a good photo to use. So, that's the photo I ended up using. Anyways, that's a little behind the scenes of the trials and tribulations of being your own social media manager.
Yep. That's why I leave it to you. I never fuck up on social media because I don't touch the stuff.
Right. Anyways, Jeff, what did we watch this week?
Well, it is R-rated Christmas movie month, my friends. And so far, we went 2 for 2. Can we do it again with another good film? Mark picked Anna and the Apocalypse from 2017. It is a musical horror comedy. One of the reviews says it's Shaun of the Dead meets La La Land. I feel like that's kind of accurate. Another review calls it this year's feel-good Christmas movie. I think they are being sarcastic. But it's directed by John McPhail. It stars Ella Hunt, Malcolm Cumming, Sarah Swire, Ben Wiggins, and Paul Kane. None of them are
at the time they were relatively unknowns. That's what I read. When they were casting this film.
I'm wondering, are they like musical performer, like stage performers,
like theaters? Yeah, I don't know.
Because from what I can tell, by listening to the soundtrack and looking at things, everybody performed their own singing.
Yeah.
Which is always for the best. In a musical, you kind of want the performer to be the one performing, the actor to be the one singing. And as far as I could tell, no one got away with having someone else do it for them.
It's I mean, the soundtrack's awesome. It's very. So when I first saw the trailer for this, and that led me to pick the movie, I was like, man, this looks really fun, right? It's a genre blend, and it's Christmas movie. it's not really a Christmas movie. It's a Christmas time movie. I don't know if we really hit the theme with this one. But
it's close enough to me because it saturates most of the elements. Though.
It does.
Like
It
one
does.
of the zombies is Santa. One of the zombies is
Right.
a snowman.
Yeah.
She's beating the shit out of people with a candy cane.
Right.
So I'm fine with it. It's not, in my opinion, like Die Hard where it happens at Christmas. I think Christmas is part of the movie. It's just not a movie about Christmas spirit. And
Yeah.
I think that's where I would draw the line. But to me, it's undeniably taking place at Christmas. One of the characters has a light up Christmas sweater. And
Yeah.
I mean, and at the very end of the movie, one of the last lines is Merry Christmas. So I'm fine with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, but like when I was watching the trailer and I heard some of the music, and it never dawned on me to go listen to the soundtrack before I didn't even listen to any of it soundtrack wise until you told me to go listen to a song that wasn't in the movie,
Right.
which is only 39 seconds.
It's a good song, though. I like fish, mother flipper. It's so stupid. I wish it was in there. Because I think it was the bullies. Like, there's the main, I don't even want to call him the bad guy, but there's the handsome douchebag at the school, Ben Wiggins, and he's got a crew, and I think it's them. What I picture in my mind for that song is that it's those bullies or whatever in line at school to get their food, and they're just talking about fish, and it's awesome. I wish that scene, maybe it's a deleted scene and I can find it. I don't know, but I wish it happened. But yeah,
No.
the soundtrack.
No, it's but the music here is very it's very theater-esque, I would say. A lot of it, I mean, good choreography, and I should say that this film isn't top budget, right? A very very mid-budget film, and I think that's evident because they don't show a lot of the gore, and so I would tend to make me think that they didn't have a budget for prosthetics or
Right.
that type of stuff. But it's the music that really makes the movie, to me, anyways. Because and I do enjoy what's her face, Ella Hunt's performance here.
She's a really good singer too.
She's really good. And Malcolm Cumming as well. He didn't. I mean, he had some of his own songs, but
It's performed in tandem with her. I thought, and I think underrated is Sarah Swire. I thought her, really honestly, across the board, I thought everyone was great. The only person who's singing, I would be like, was Paul Kane, who played the headmaster.
Oh yeah,
He was kind of iffy at parts, but he makes up for it by his actual acting performance being incredible.
yeah. I mean, the film it's a movie about a zombie outbreak or something that turns people into zombies, and these kids are just trying to stay alive throughout the movie. There's really no real big plot here, right? It's just a survival.
Yeah, it's a survival
movie.
movie. I think like the big things are there's two separate groups. There's the folks at the school, which is mostly adults, and
Yeah.
then there are our teenagers who are grouped together, and they're trying to make their way to the school as that's supposed to be the safe zone, where the military is going to come and save them and pick them up and all that shit. I agree, like that seems like a very kind of normal plot for zombie films, just survive the night. I think where the movie excels is in its character work. Obviously the music, and we'll get into that, but I think the characters are really great. There's characters you think are going to end up one way, but end up another. I think my favorite character arc is that of Ben Wiggins, who plays Nick, the douchebag boyfriend.
I think he has the best song too.
So, well, I guess let's get into it. Determining how I determined my favorite song is I listened to the soundtrack, and the song that I kept repeating the most was his song, Soldiers of War.
Yeah.
I love that song, and I really love his falsetto. The best form of defense is attack. Just, and there are a lot of great songs. Like,
Yeah.
I love the song when they're going to school in the morning and they got their earbuds in, and
The zombies
it's a brand
are all
new day,
around them.
and and I'm miles away, and there's zombies behind them and stuff,
Yeah.
and chaos. Really, really loved that. And then there was there was one song that I really liked, which was Human Voice, which they sing as sort of they realize shit's going down. They're like bombing the zombies or whatever. But the problem with that song is it doesn't actually fit the movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's a song about social media and how people miss actually having conversations, which I found weird. The tone of it, like the musical tone of it, fit, right? It was this somber, sad thing, and you could almost relate, hey, I want to hear a human voice. I want to hear that someone I know is okay, but that's not actually what the song is about. That would be my only critique. And then the other song that I really like was Hollywood Ending, which basically tells you
Yeah.
this is not going to be
right.
a happy movie.
When that song, I mean, it's foreshadowing, right? And it's very clever to use a song to foreshadow, some not really spell out what the event is going to happen, but when what's his face died,
Malcolm Cummings.
John, yeah. I was shocked, right? And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. They fucking sang a song about that.
Yeah. And like the thing I like too is, so like his portion of that song is that he's got the hots for Anna.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the best friend zone pretty much their entire relationship, but he's wanting more. And there's a scene where she essentially shuts that down. She says, listen, you're my best friend. And he's like, yeah, And no, you're my best friend. And it's never going further than that. She sets the boundary. This is what it is. Our relationship isn't going to ever be more than that. And the song tells you that. Like, the song is like, if this were a movie, which it is, but, that's kind of what's clever about it. She would see me as something more than a friend, and he isn't. And then he gets killed, right? So, like, that's a double thing. Like, you expect someone to get killed. Like, you expect the douchebag boyfriend to get fucked up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he doesn't. And as a matter of fact, he's probably the coolest character.
Yeah, no,
Right?
he turns out. I mean, he has a classic anti-hero arc, right?
Yeah.
Where he starts out as bad, then he's kind of making the circle around to the redemptive, and then by the end of the movie, he's really our hero. But I was really bummed. It was like the turning point in the movie for me. Not really a turning point, but like it made me sad, like watching the movie, because I was very invested, and that's a sign of a good musical is when the music can make you feel something for a character.
It doubles down. The thing about musicals, I think it's able to evoke emotion in a much more intense way. I don't want to say better, but in an intense fashion with the music. And I think without the music, this movie is fine, right? It's a pretty good, decent, I would say, zombie movie. But the musical numbers really elevate it.
Well, and the musical numbers, along with the choreography, it's different. It's like watching, what was the other musicals that we watched? What was the one with Andrew Garfield?
Oh, Tick, Tick, Boom.
Tick, Tick, Boom. Really good movie, right?
I couldn't tell you one musical number from that movie, though.
No, right. I couldn't tell you the name of the song, but I can tell you like the parts of the movie.
You couldn't even tell me the name of the movie, bro.
I couldn't, but like he where him and what's her face from High School Musical are they're rehearsing and they're singing back and forth to each other and they're finishing the lines of the song. Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind. But anyways, like this made me think of that film as far as like musical numbers adding on the performances of the music adding on to the emotion of the character.
Yeah.
And so when John dies, I was like, "Fuck, man," because I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to the relationship, and he's trying real hard, and then
he's really nice. Like he doesn't have faults.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, like as far as a character goes, he's a good guy, and really the core 5 characters all are pretty good, right? Like they don't have
right. They're like flawless characters.
Yeah.
But like when he died, and then I go back and I think about it, I was like, well, you know, they sang the song about it, and then he realizes it, and then he chooses to sacrifice himself, right? And so I'm like, okay, well that makes sense now. Thinking back on it, it makes sense that this character coming to the realization that he's never going to be with the person he wants, and just kind of making the decision, hey, they'll eat me.
Yeah.
In order to save
he was
you.
Fucked too because of the bite, right?
Right.
And I think this is something in zombie movies that always works, right? Just a minor flesh wound is,
Yep.
Oh, well, I'm dead.
Got you.
And there's that period of time between when you turn that can really create some really emotional scenes, because I've never really been scared of zombies, right? Like when I watch a zombie movie, I never am like, oh shit, here they come. Like it's not as scary as like fucking Pennywise or whatever, like I just find those to be a little more intense. Like zombies are to me just fun, violence, schlocky fun.
Right. Gore fest. You'd think about zombies, you think of chopping off body parts and heads and, right.
Good stuff. And I think that this movie does a great job of using zombies as a way to heighten the stakes, get the story moving, and having the stakes be really high, which works across the board for me.
Well, in the movie, kind of takes its time getting to the zombies, right? And I mean, we get introduced to all the characters.
It really does, but yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not wasted time, right? But
it's all good musical numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
And like
it takes its time. It introduces the characters. We get from the very first scene where what's her face, Anna and John are in the car with her dad, and she tells him, "I'm not okay. I'm not going to the to university. I'm going to take a year off." And she essentially establishes that, hey, I'm going to buck the norm, and I'm going to do my own thing. And we get introduced to her and her dad's relationship, where, and my dogs are going nuts in the background right now. But we're introduced to their relationship, and we find out that it's not the best, right? And her mom has passed away from something, illness, I guess. And it's not really referenced, but we do know that she's dead. And it's just her and her dad, and they leave this opening scene as the car, and they get to school. And that's the last word she says to her dad is, they have this argument, and she says, "I hate you," or something like that. And then we find out that he works at the school too, and he's not the janitor, but he's kind of the do-it-all guy at the school. Is because somebody makes fun of Anna's dad later on, and she defends him, and she's like, he's not the janitor. But I really thought that from the first scene, it establishes that this is going to be a movie with heart, is because we have Anna, who has these lofty dreams of after high school, her dad, who wants her to do essentially the smart thing and go to college, and her best friend John, who is, just kind of along for the ride. And so I really thought that it was a very effective first scene. And I guess we're gonna wait for Jeff to come back because I'm just talking to myself. But I'm gonna rank, since he's gone. I don't know where he went.
Oh my gosh!
God.
Wait till you see the video.
I hope.
And my face. So I had this is what. So let's peek behind the curtain real quick.
Okay.
I don't know what you talked about. You'll have to repeat yourself. But
I'm not. I just talked about the first scene of the movie.
Okay. Normally we record in the evening.
Yeah.
Around 9 p.m.
Yeah.
But because of scheduling, today we're
Sure.
recording in the morning. You know
Yes.
what happens in the morning?
You got to poop.
I got to fucking poop. And I thought I could, I thought I was good. And then my body said, bitch, this is happening with or without you. Anyway, so Anna and the Apocalypse.
Anyway, I just got done telling everybody why I thought the entire first scene where they're in the car on the way to school, and she tells her dad that she doesn't want to go to college, at least not right away, and he kind of is like, why are you being dumb? Do the smart thing. And then she tells him, I hate you, as the last words that she says to him at the school. And then we find out that he's the janitor at the school, but he's not really the janitor, but he gets called the janitor.
Be the janitor.
Right.
He's like the facilities guy.
Right.
He was being a douchebag in that scene. She's an adult. Like, if she wants to spend some time seeing the world, have at it. You can always go back to college. Like,
but it's not that easy, Liz. I'm gonna tell you, as the father of a young woman that just got done with her school. I've had that conversation. I've had the conversation of, hey, it could be easy to step away, but is it easy to come back? And so it's relatable, I think. And the character may have gone about it in the wrong way.
Yeah,
but I thought the idea that he was trying to convey of hey, don't do the irresponsible thing. Go to college, get it done, and then go see,
yeah, but what
live
happens
your
if you
life.
die while you're in college? I mean,
That's true. But
like,
what happens if you die
on
30
your
seconds
trip?
from now?
Then hey, yeah, exactly. Life is short. I just felt like, because of his extreme reaction, had he taken a more measured approach, which I'm sure you did with your daughter, is, hey, you sat down, you said, here's my concerns. May be hard for you to get back into it. And that's been the scene, then we'd be fine, right? But
no, but the scene is effective because it establishes the relationship, and we get a peek at, the relationship isn't great. They're pretty standoffish towards each other, and then the last word she says as she gets out of the car, I hate you. And then she doesn't see him again until the very, towards the end of the movie.
right.
And so it's effective. You're right. The first scene, it completely lays out, the recall of, at the end of the movie, why we needed to care about this interaction. Why she needs to get back to her dad is because the last time she saw him alive, she said, yeah, I hate you. And I just, it's good storytelling, and there was no music. You're right. It's just good writing. And I just thought it's effective first scene, and it kind of lays the groundwork of why she needs to get back to her dad the entire film. And I appreciate little small scenes like that, because it wasn't long. It was like a 5-minute scene. And so I enjoyed that, and it's a good introduction to the characters, right? Anna, headstrong. John, kind of just along for the ride guy. And then Dad, who
douchebag.
who's
But
just
what
trying-
you get is, like, through this plot, though, you find out that he doesn't make a lot of money,
right?
And so that's
And
probably
mom is dead.
That was the thing that got me, is your mother could see you now. Asshole. And then he rectifies it later, but
Right.
parents say things in the heat of the moment that
Sure.
they don't mean. I've not said anything this bad though.
Parenting's hard. Listen, I can imagine being a single dad of a 18, almost 18-year-old, however old she is.
Yeah.
And trying to convey, to a headstrong daughter, you're making the wrong choice and saying something that you regret.
So I'll tell you a story about my dad.
Okay.
So I was like 16, 17, had a job washing dishes, and I just wanted to hang out with my friends that day. So I told my dad, I think I'm going to quit. And my dad, he goes, okay, why? And I was like, I just don't want to do it anymore. He goes, well, son, it's your decision, but I don't support this decision. And then he just left it at that. And I took my ass to work that day. And I just, it just was the right way to handle it, right?
Yeah.
Let them make their decision, and I just, yeah.
Me and my oldest daughter kind of have that that bond, right? Where I can just say, hey, this is not the decision you should be making, and she'll come around to it, right?
Yeah.
My youngest daughter, you gotta lay it out, right? It's because she just full steam, and you're like, hey, don't be dumb. But it's a relationship with a father figure, and really this movie is Anna's relationship with her dad, and I feel like at the end of the movie, I don't necessarily think we get a good enough payoff. It's because I thought the scene was very short, where her dad's dying.
Yeah, there are things in that scene that I really like, though, but they don't have to do with Anna. Honestly, our main character should have been Nick. Because, so when they find Nick, he is basically all in on being a zombie killer. He loves this shit. And that's his musical number. And, he's the top of his class. While you guys have been hiding, I've been kicking ass. It's one of the lyrics. And you find out, later on in the film, she's like, have you ever done anything that wasn't selfish? And he says, yeah, I killed my dad. My dad got bit, and he said, do the right thing, don't punk out, or whatever, something along those lines. So you get the idea that Nick killed his own dad before he turned into a zombie. And then at the end of the movie, Anna's dad has been bit, and Anna asks, do you want me to help?
Yeah.
We know what that means. And Nick steps in and goes, no. He he's like, listen, I did that, and it's not a good thing. Don't. And her dad's like, yeah, he's right. And I just, that moment to me was the best part of that scene. But again, it's this side character who is the more interesting character in their background, right? We've seen estranged parents before, but you've got this guy who hides his wounds behind a tough exterior, and to me, that's the more relatable character.
And you're right. Really effective scene, even though I didn't think it was long enough.
Yeah.
It is effective, and what you're saying about these side characters being very fleshed out. I feel like we got that with Sarah Swire's character, Steph, and because when we find out that she doesn't have anybody, her parents just up and left her to fend for herself and go to Mexico or wherever.
Yeah, and I wonder.
And the movie takes place in England, by the way.
Or I think it's actually Glasgow, which is
it might be Scotland. Yeah. Which is the part of England?
No, it's not. It's a part of the UK. It's not part of England. It's a part of the UK.
It depends on who you ask.
People from Scotland.
Right.
So yeah, Steph Swire, and the interesting thing about her character is so much is undone or not. Her story, you hear it, but we never actually see a lot of the things. Like we see a quick picture of her parents in Mexico. We don't know why. We do know that she's a gay character. Did they leave because they were disowning her, or are they just dipping for a vacation? Either way, it seems to have affected her and hurt her that her parents left without her. And then the other part is that she has a girlfriend somewhere else. I don't remember where. They say where, but it may be in another city. And she's wanting to make sure they're okay. And we don't get closure on that. And and sometimes that's a bad thing. But I think in this movie, it really kind of adds a realism and an unpredictability to the plot, right? Because the movie spends a lot of time subverting expectations of, hey, the nice guy's going to get the girl. No, he doesn't. He dies, in fact. Hey, this douchebag's going to get eaten by zombies. No, he doesn't. He's actually kind of the hero in a lot of ways. And here's this character with these open threads, these open story plots of her parents and her girlfriend. And we don't ever find out, because in this world, they don't have, the cell phone towers are down, which frankly, honestly, probably wouldn't happen, at least as quick as it does in this film. But
zombies is a ribbon up.
Right. I mean, I guess it could, but anyway, but it isolates everyone to their immediate vicinity. So she's got no way to check in, and she's no way to get news from her girlfriend. And by the end of the film, you don't know.
Yeah.
And I think,
but she is one of our surviving characters, though.
Right. She survives along with douchebag Nick, who's awesome, and Anna. And the movie ends with, what do we want to do next? And then the movie just ends, because what do you do next?
Yeah,
the world is ending.
Yeah, and I mean, 2017. It's a while now, and I feel like if there was going to be another film, it would have probably already happened by now. But I genuinely really enjoyed this movie, like from start to finish, and we're talking what's an hour and a half, hour and a half, and there's some of it that I'm like, a bigger budget where I probably would have made that look better, but it's so good from just the performances that the zombies are just background, really. They're they're a means to kind of move things along, and like there's certain plot points that involve zombies, but for the most part, the zombies are just kind of the the setting of this film. And so, once you wrap your head around, hey, this isn't going to be your big budget gore fest, right? Then you can kind of be like, okay, I'm on board with it being in the background and getting these characters and the music, as the star of the show. And so, I really enjoyed it. What about you?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Before we start moving into closing, I tried to find the budget, and I couldn't find the budget. But this movie financially tanked.
Right.
It made about $500,000, a little more than that worldwide. $500,000 in the States, and opening weekend about $50K. That's horrible, and I don't know why. This movie kicks ass. I don't know how. I mean, I never heard of it, so I guess advertising would be the big thing. But this movie is awesome, and to piggyback off you, hour and a half. It felt a little longer than that, but in a good way. Like, I felt like they got a lot of stuff in that hour and a half time frame. And I think this is fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, the reason why we haven't seen anything else from this universe is because no money was made on it,
right?
But I mean, I feel like you could probably turn this into a series of
holiday-based zombie musicals.
Yeah, something. And then I looked at Ella Hunt's filmography, and she hasn't really done anything since of note that I would say, which is interesting, is because she's really good here in this film. She's a really good singer, and so maybe she is a theater actress by trade, and this was kind of just a step out of the theater realm for her. But I wouldn't mind getting more of her, because she's a young enough actress to where she could probably be cast in a number of different things, and you can get longevity out of her in Hollywood. But it's just weird. It's weird how movies like this come along, and you're like, man, that was a really good movie. How come we haven't seen more from these people? And it's just like, oh, I don't know. It just disappeared. We're good.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, because I think this is definitely what you would call a hidden gem.
Yes.
I really like the musical numbers. I really like the characters. So let's do a little thing that we do on occasion.
Yeah.
Do you have a Mount Rushmore of zombie films?
Ooh.
I had trouble picking a fourth.
I would think it's probably not a Rushmore, because I don't really I'm not a big zombie film fan,
Right.
like Dawn
And
of the Dead. Name some other zombie movies.
So
World
here's
War
the,
Z.
Here's the three that I immediately put on my list, which would be the original black and white Night of the Living Dead. I really
Okay.
like that movie. It's also in the public domain, so you can find it on YouTube, and it's free, and you can do whatever you want with it. Zombieland, which is
zombie. Okay.
maybe my favorite.
Yeah.
And then Anna and the Apocalypse. Those were
Yeah.
the three I had. So the other one, I was like, Shaun of the Dead, I didn't enjoy it as much as other people did.
I don't
And
know
then
if
I
it's
was
a
like,
best movie though.
it's fine.
Right.
Girl with All the
Yeah.
Gifts I saw, it was fine. So I really just have three
Yeah.
that I would say are good enough to be up there.
All right. So when did we have musical month? Was it this year or last
It was
year?
this year.
It was
No,
back in, like,
last
Mar-
year, because
it was
it was last year.
And so we had The Greatest Showman. We had the
Tick,
one
Tick,
with
Boom.
Meatloaf.
What is that? Stage Fright?
Stage Fright, and then Little Shop of Horrors, right?
Yep.
Now you have those four and this one.
Mm-hmm.
Remove one.
Remove
Do you
one?
all right, let me rephrase. Do you take
That's
one
easy.
from
Yeah, remove
musical month and then put Anna and the Apocalypse in musical month,
Yeah.
or do you leave Anna and the Apocalypse?
No, you
by
take
itself?
Stage Fright out.
Okay.
Because and I didn't hate that movie. It was fine.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about it was, to me, a horror movie that was a musical.
Right.
And here this one comes along and blows the doors off of it. This is a good one. It's not just a curiosity like Stage Fright was. So yeah, easily.
Okay. I would agree. There is there's something to be said for a good musical, and they don't come around all that often.
No, they don't.
And so the fact that this one came out in 2017 and neither one of us had seen it, heard of it, anything, it's like, wow, that's crazy.
I got my fourth movie.
Okay. What is
Train. Boy, it's a body function episode today. Train to Busan. Have you seen that?
it? Yeah.
It's a Korean
Oh,
film.
zombie. Yeah. Okay.
That
yeah.
movie.
That's
awesome.
that slaps.
So that is on my. I definitely have four definitive zombie
Okay.
films that I really love.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, Train to Busan. I still don't. I guess I would put Living. I don't know. I don't know.
You said yes to Zombieland.
Yes to Zombieland and the
then the
Apocalypse,
Apocalypse.
Train to Busan, and then probably the what's the original remake of Dawn of the Dead? Was it Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah, there was. Well, no, Dawn of the Dead is the second movie. I think it was just Night of the Living Dead. There was a remake in 1990.
maybe I'm thinking of the one in 2004, the Zack Snyder one.
Oh
Is
God.
it Zack Snyder?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did some.
Maybe I'm thinking of that one. James Gunn wrote that movie, by the way. Dawn of the Dead, 2004.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's crazy. Anyway. So you recommend it. I recommend it.
It's great. 3 for 3.
3 for 3, and we're going to ruin it next week.
No, it's going to continue. We got to have a positive mental attitude.
What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are going to watch New Year's Evil. And the more I think about it, the more I'm on board with what I've done here because, the day after Christmas is like, the Christmas season kind of winds down and you're really in the New Year's season. So who wants to watch a Christmas movie after Christmas? Not me. So we're watching one of the only ever New Year's movies, New Year's Evil from 1980, runs for an hour 25. It's on various free platforms to watch. It's going to be a great day. I'm watching it next to Mark so I could look at his face as he watches some old shit.
And we got a new couch for the room, so
baby.
we're gonna be
I'm
living
gonna
life.
probably fall asleep. Like the room you have is my dream room. Like I would just be in that room all the time, mostly asleep.
So now I can because like I don't have to move my PS5. I got the PlayStation Portal.
Oh, you picked it up?
Yeah. It took me a while because it was sold out everywhere.
Oh,
no.
okay.
It's pretty light actually. It's lighter than the Switch.
Yeah.
But now I can be in that room and play my PS5 without having to move my PS5 and still keep my PS5 where the big TV is. But anyways, picked up this couch that it was a chore getting into this room because it's pretty long, but that's what she said. Anyways, the guy who directed New Year's Evil also directed the 1993 film Little Ninjas.
What the hell is that?
And the synopsis is a treasure map found by 3 young boys allows them reason to get their kicks in more ways than one.
2.3. Oh, yikes! Out of 10.
Wait,
Hey. I've never seen Little Ninjas. I've seen 3 Ninjas.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of 3 Ninjas. I
Yeah.
got it. All right.
Little Ninjas. Good Lord. Hell no.
This guy, if you go to his filmography, it's the craziest shit. This guy, Emmett Alston.
9 Deaths of the Ninja. I wonder if that's a sequel. Although
Oh, yeah,
Little
we got-
Ninjas comes out later.
We got so he directed New Year's Evil, 9 Deaths of the Ninja, Tiger Shark, Demon Warp, Force of the Ninja, Across the Killing Bay, and then Little Ninjas. This man,
Can you think of a director with cooler names to his movies? I don't think you can.
it literally has a movie named Tiger Shark.
He has Tiger Shark Demon Warp, which alone the name is like, what the fuck's going on there? 9 Deaths of the Ninja might be the greatest film title of all time. Across the Killing Bay? Oh,
I don't know,
just
man.
incredible.
You might have outdone yourself.
Emmett Alston chronologically at some point. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna
3-Way Weekend.
It's
is that like this is the synopsis for 3-Way Weekend. 2 bisexual girls go camp. Now this is 1979. 2 bisexual girls go camping in the woods and are followed around by a pervert guy in a gorilla mask and a man in a uniform with a whip who thinks everyone is a communist. Strange sexual encounters ensue, and other people show up out of nowhere. They do drugs, and an incomprehensible plot follows. What the fuck? How have I never watched this? Holy shit.
a movie that can only be made in 1979.
That synopsis kept getting more incredible. You have to admit that you want to watch this now.
I mean, it's
Yes.
going to be a race. It's going to be a race to the number 1 spot of worst films we've watched this year. I tell you that.
3-Way Weekend? Or are you talking about?
I'm talking about New Year's
Yeah,
Evil.
3-Way
bro.
Weekend. No way that's bad. Did you hear what I said? Man
It's
in
also
a
his
blue
highest.
mask.
It's also his highest rated film. 3 weekend.
Oh, I got to find it. It's probably on VHS somewhere.
That's for sure. It does not show it that it is streaming anywhere. I don't know. You might have to go to the depths of the internet.
It looks like it is available on YouTube in its entirety.
For free?
This guy's wearing a Nixon mask and American underwear. Yeah, it's free. It's like someone pirated it and uploaded it. Oh my
Anyways.
gosh. Watch out for my 5-minute review.
Okay. Do it, and I will get it up as quickly as possible.
If you watch this movie, you might be able to get it up. Don't.
Anyways, I'm going to plug the music again. We give thanks to the alt hip hop New York based band Oxymorons for allowing us to use their music here on the podcast with the song Moon Chasers. Be sure to give them a like, follow, subscribe in the show notes. And Jeff, any words of wisdom?
Go check out my podcast chronologically wherever you get your podcast. And
I forgot to do that.
If you know of films like Three-Way Weekend, shoot them my way on Twitter. What'd you say? At Podcast by Jeff, or tell Mark about them at I heard you liked. Also, you would like this movie. There's a lot of nudity, like right off rip. Anyway,
You're watching it right now?
I've got it on in the background. We're watching this movie. Like,
Anyways,
go ahead.
yeah,
Let's get out of here.
save it for your 5-minute review.